looked at the guy and asked, does she know about you? But the guy looked surprised. Yes, I told her. The shaman said to her, you gotta be very careful when you see a frog. That's really weird. And she was about to leave. The shaman goes to the young girl. Your boyfriend is cheating you or just about to cheat on you. Watch out. So she checked his message. And he was dirty talking to this girl. The shaman goes, your mom is such a horrible mom. She wouldn't know why you're here. Get the hell out. And her mom was like, I'll be there tomorrow. Welcome back to podcast. We have a very fun story regarding shamanism and dating. So without further ado, here we go. I'm going crazy now. I don't know what to do. Okay. I really want to get married. I'm not young anymore. And everyone around me is getting married. Been there. So I feel even more pressure. But recently, I met a really great guy. He's around 40, works in finance, has a good personality, and he's very caring. At first, I was suspicious because he seemed too perfect. But then I found out he was divorced and has a 7-year-old son. Anyway, he was very open to talking to me about these things. Well, he told me his ex-wife cheated on him. He tried to stay because of his child, but in the end, they got divorced. I asked him a lot of questions because I wanted to make sure there was nothing wrong with him. But he seemed honest, and I could see he really felt sorry for his son. I told my friend about this guy, and she said there's a famous shaman in Apgujeong. She's a regular and suggested that we go together. At first, I laughed and said, no way. I don't believe that kind of stuff. But I was actually a little curious. So I decided to go there with a guy, my boyfriend, pretending it was just a coincidence. When we got there, the shaman asked for our names and birth dates. Then she looked at the guy and asked, does she know about you? You know what I mean? I was confused. But the guy looked surprised, then glanced at me and said, yes, I told her. I told her that I was divorced and I have a child. Good. At the moment, I finally understood that what was happening, and I was shocked. And then the shaman talked about me. She said things like, you have high standards and worry too much. Sounds like me. So it's hard for you to date someone. I mean, yeah, it's kind of true, but it felt like something you could say to anyone. True. She didn't say anything about whether I should marry him or not. It was kind of boring. So I thought, okay, whatever. And forgot about it. But a few days later, my friend suddenly called me. Did you go to the shaman I told you about? And I said, yeah, I went, but nothing special really happened. Haha. Then all of a sudden, she got really serious. Did you tell him that I introduced you? I said, no, why? Then I got worried. Then my friend hesitated for a moment and said, well, I don't know if I should tell you this, but the shamans usually don't call their clients. But yesterday, she called me and said, a man and a woman came to visit yesterday. Then I suddenly saw your face. She's never said things like this before, but she told me this message for you and let you decide whether to pass it on or not. I asked, what message? And my friend said, she told me to tell you, don't ever marry that guy. I felt like I couldn't breathe for a second. I've never mentioned the marriage when I was there. Sure, she might have guessed based on our ages, but still, I asked, why? What's wrong? And she hesitated again, then said, the reason he got divorced is because of something called champasal. I was like, what is that? And she explained, it's not his fault, but his faith has something called 천팔살. It means that no matter what, his marriage will always end in divorce. Hearing that, I made my mind go blank. My friend quickly added, I know it's just the shaman's words, so don't take it too seriously. after she worried us so much. But I just wanted to tell you, or I might regret it later. So sorry for saying this. And then she quickly ended the call. And now I don't know what to do. What if I can't find another good guy? But what if I marry him and we really end up getting divorced later? I'm seriously going crazy. What should I do? Very interesting story.
Yeah, very interesting. What do you think?
I believe this.
Really?
Yeah, I believe this. I wanted to point out that the story said the shamans usually never call the clients, although they are regulars, unless they have something they want from the client. It was kind of like a friendly warning call. They usually don't do that. They don't want to interfere so much, because if you interfere, that means responsibility. So they are very careful. This person called the client. The shaman also guessed that that was her friend, right? Because the shaman saw the face. That actually happened to my shaman a lot, actually. I pass out numbers to only good friends, but that doesn't mean that all of them are gonna call them. But also, whenever they call him, they don't tell me they did. Sometimes they tell me like years later, like, oh, last time we met, you gave me the number. So I met him like 6 months later and blah, blah, blah. So we don't really share this feedback, right? And experience, unless they really want to. But when they did share the feedback with me, story usually goes like this. Like, for example, I had an ex-coworker when I was 9 to 5, and she was really into shamanism in general. And she was a regular for many shamans, like a star sign reader, a book reader, like a traditional shaman, tarot reader. So she's really into that, right? And it seemed like none of them are good enough. So she was a really nice girl. So I told her, I'm also a regular. I know this guy, but he's in Busan, so quite far away. But if you want him, like you can call him, or when you go on a vacation, like make a reservation and have a talk to him. And it's like, okay. Then after that, we never talked. And then I quit that job, and like a couple of months later, she called me. We never met after I quit, but she called me. And she goes, Jed, what the hell? I called him yesterday, and she was still working at the same company, right? And she complained about her job because she hated it, and the people were bullying her. And she asked him about like her career choice and blah blah blah. And my shaman goes, I see a familiar face. And it was like 2 months after I quit, and we never talked since. And the shaman goes, I know someone who worked there in the same place because I see him in your office. And this girl is she's quite funny, right? And she goes, Mr. Shaman, shall we say his name at the same time after 1, 2, 3? She really did. and they said like 1, 2, 3, and they both said, Jed. Really, it's true story. True story. And I also called my shaman like a few months later, and I heard the story about my ex-coworker. Is that really true? You guys said my name after 1, 2, 3. It's like, yeah, it was such an odd request, and I can't believe I said that. I could have just told her like, oh, it's Jed. You don't have to do 1, 2, 3. But they all did. It's like so weird. Yeah, but true story. But sometimes my shaman, he knows where he got the number. But at the same time, because he's not perfect, he's not like an absolute God, sometimes he doesn't see things either. So like some of my friends had a good talk with him, like for an hour, for half an hour, whatever. And it was my friend, right? And my shaman goes, can I ask where you got the number? So he couldn't see. So something completely opposite happened. But sometimes he knows. Oh, I see the face of Jed. Do you know Jed? So that's what happened with the friend who gave her friend the number. So because when the couple were there, the shaman saw the face of the mutual friend. Yeah, which is why she called her and I think the divorce is it seemed quite certain to the shaman, which is why she called, because they never want to interfere, because that means responsibility. What if she dumped him and regrets it later and blame shaman? So they usually don't want to do that. If they do, usually it means that they are not good shamans. Usually they are very careful. Yeah, they don't want that aftermath.
Anyway, what is the champasal?
Champasal is the article goes. Let me explain after reading this. It says, but his faith has something called champasal. It means that no matter what, his marriage will always end in divorce. Champasal is the marriage is one example. Like for example, you're working for this company for 10 years and you want to do something on your own. You want to go your way and you want to like form a company with like 5 people, 10 people, whatever, and that will break. So you form something and it's most likely it's going to break. So marriage, you form family, right? And then you have that faith and your marriage will most likely will break. Yeah. So I was joking with my friend, like people with the champasal, they form like a running crew and it still breaks. Yeah.
It's
so they
kind of
shouldn't.
curse.
I don't think it's a curse because everyone has different faith. Like we add sal after that, like 도화살, champasal, and so on. And this faith doesn't mean it's a curse, and also not everyone has this sal that is so unique. Not everyone has it, but even if you have one of those, it doesn't mean that it's always bad. It's always good. It affects your life, but this case is very extreme. As the story goes, he's, in general, except for the divorce, he's a very nice guy. Finance, it means money. And she said he's such a good guy. So yeah, if you have a really bad faith, I wouldn't call this curse, but it's rather negative, right? Usually it means that he has a lot of other good qualities. So it's kind of balance out. Yeah.
그래서 이 여자는 결국 어떤 결정을 해야 될까요? 어떻게 이 문제에 대해서 어떻게 생각하세요?
PD님 의견도 얘기해 주실래요?
먼저요?
네. David's feedback.
이미 마음속에 불안함을 느낀다는 건 언제나 마음속에 후회가 되고 결국에 예를 들어서 이 결혼의 결국에 불행이 끝났어. 그럼 이 여자는 그건 내 잘못 아니야.
그렇지.
이 남자 때문이야.
그렇지.
생각하게 될 것 같아요.
그렇지.
이미 마음속에 불안을 갖고 있다면 해소는 안 될 거라고 생각해요.
Right.
What do you think?
Very good point. David thinks that the fact that the girl is already worried by the shaman's feedback, it means that she has doubts, right? And then what if, like David also added, if they get divorced, and she's gonna think, oh, it's not my fault. That's his fault because of his faith. So she's gonna blame that, right? So she shouldn't marry. That's David's opinion. My opinion is get a second opinion. Ask him twice. No, actually, try to consult with the different shamans. Yeah, you can ask for book readers. They are also quite accurate when it comes to we have the term called 궁합, right? 궁합 is a chemistry between she and he in general. Like book readers, they're pretty good in my opinion. Although I don't have anyone to go and consult with. You can go to book readers and you can try different shamans. I would go 2 more because the shaman's opinion is very strong. And if if I was her, if I was in her shoes, and I really love this guy, and I think he's the one, but at the same time, I'm worried about the shaman's feedback, then I would ask for a second opinion from different shaman or third shaman. I think it's not a lot of money because it's usually $50 to $100, right, for an hour. So it's a big decision, but at the same time, you make your faith. So you meet two more people. Two more people. Then I make my own decision. It's on me. But the thing is, like, you got the feedback, right? And you meet two more shamans. If they say the same thing, it's done deal,
어,
right? In this case, I think it's most likely done deal already. She's gonna end up in.
궁금하더라고요. 만약에 두 번째, 세 번째 샤먼을 찾아갔을 때 그들도 똑같이 그 남자의 운명에서 이 운명을 페이트라고 했으니까 총파사를 보게 될까?
If they're good. Let's say this first one is good one, and she finds other good shamans. Most likely they'll come up with the same feedback. Yeah, because Champasa is quite a strong one. That's something that stands out in your lifeline, like book of your life is quite clear.
그러면 만약에 친구 입장이었으면은 그러면 친구한테 이 말 전할 것 같아요?
No, David asked me if I was a friend, and shaman called me. Oh, your friend, like David is married, but like David came with this nice girl, but she has champasal, and most likely they're gonna end up in divorce. But I'm not gonna tell him. I don't want to confuse him, and that's his life. So we have a very short story from one of our crew. He has a friend, female. She went to see a shaman for some reason. She had an issues, blah blah blah, and the shaman said to her, "You gotta be very careful when you see a frog." But in Seoul, where can you see a frog? When I was listening to the story, I figured vacation. Like you go to somewhere like far away, like a countryside, and then you can see frogs, right? And then you careful with a river, like swimming, blah blah blah. I thought that's what she meant, right? And then she thought it was weird. We all thought it was weird, like frog. I don't recall the last time I saw a frog, so it's weird. And she had a boyfriend, and they went to his house, and they're about to make sweet love. And she spotted a pillow, which is quite weird. So the pillow was a shape of a frog with a face on it. It's like, that's really weird. And then, the shaman. And she said, she told the boyfriend, like, you smell, can you take a shower? And so he went. And she was touching the pillow. And then behind it, underneath the pillow, there's a hidden camera. She dodged the bullet. Yeah. He just told me. He just told us before shooting. Good shaman though, right?
Okay, do you have any similar experience in your life?
Okay, I personally have a lot of stories. Let's start with, and I already talked about my shaman story, so I'm gonna talk about different shaman story. Okay, so it's a short story. I know this girl, young girl, very pretty. She was at the time she was like 25, very young, very very pretty. Although she was not my cup of tea. So very nice girl, very nice girl. And in Korea, it's when you meet people and you're not very comfortable, we come up with like a shaman story as ice breaking, right? And people just jump in because they all have like one or two stories about shaman. And I did that with a very nice girl because we had a big dinner, and there are friends that I was not very comfortable with. So I kind of dropped a few lines about shaman, and this pretty girl, she came up with her story because when you're young, right, you don't usually believe this, and she was quite young at the time, so I was surprised that she came up with a story because young girls don't go there. And she goes, "Oh, actually, I used to be very skeptical, which is quite natural for young girls. It's like I was very skeptical until last month. It's like, what happened? Okay, so I had this 언니, a friend who is older than you. And so with this 언니, she wanted to see Shaman, and I was like, well, why do you waste your time on this like weird stuff? Like save your money. And she goes, oh, I really have like a big family problem with my boyfriend, blah blah blah. Like I want to go, but at the same time I'm scared. So can you please go with me? I was like, okay, whatever. And she went. Usually it doesn't happen, right? Because they talk to you very directly. So your privacy will be. So you don't want to bring your friend. Sometimes like married couple, they sometimes they go in separately. Yeah. Anyway, so she went with a friend. Bad idea. And she didn't tell me about this 언니. And she was shocked. Like, whoa, okay. But still, she was very skeptical. Like she could be lying. The shaman could be lying. So whatever. And we thought, okay, interesting, but not my thing. But it was a good experience, and I didn't pay for it, so I'm gonna go. And she was about to leave. The shaman goes to the young girl. Yo, I was like, excuse me. Like, your boyfriend is cheating you, or just about to cheat on you. So watch out. And she laughed it off. Right? She laughed it off, and because at the time she had a boyfriend she trusted, apparently very good boyfriend material. And next time they had a date, they're talking, and then the boyfriend goes like, "Oh, you went to see the shaman, right?" It's like, and with that 언니, it's like, how was it? And she goes, "You know what she said? She said you're cheating on me." It's like, and boyfriend goes, "Oh, excuse me, I need the bathroom," and that was very fishy, right? The fact that he was like, oh, so surprised, but he tried to hide it, but she said it was very obvious, like something's going on, very fishy. And so that day, there was a time he went to bathroom for a bit, and he left his phone, and she never ever looked at his phone before, and he was playing games, so it was open, right? So she checked his message, like a Kakao and a text message. And he was dirty talking to this girl.
Oh my god.
And she said it was quite dirty. It's, she didn't tell me the material, but it was very dirty, very sexual. So she confronted him. What is going on? Actually, he went to a bachelor party because one of his friends was getting married. We don't have a strippers in Korea, so we usually go to like the club. Yeah, like a night club, right? Like where people meet and drink together with like a girls picking up boys, vice versa, and blah blah blah. And she trusted him, and he told her he was going to that night club. So not just club, but night club is the purpose is actually quite clear. You want to meet the girls, but he was such a good boyfriend. She let him. Let him is a funny word, but she was okay with this. Like, have fun. I'm not gonna call you, bother you. You can talk to the girls, but because I know you always behave, because you're a good guy. Have fun, and then tomorrow call me, right? And he met a girl in that club, and they're talking like a very naughty stuff. But he didn't cheat on her. He was just about to do it because the text message, it was very dirty. Yeah, and it was almost they having it already, so she couldn't take it, so she dumped him, and he didn't make any excuse. Yeah, that freaked him out, and now she believes in that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a good marketing as well. She'll most likely go back to that one, like if she has another boyfriend, right? Short story, but it's pretty good. And also, I have another story. When I was teaching, when I was doing a class, like an art class, I was in my 30s, early 30s, and I was teaching girls. I was teaching young people like a basic stuff of art. And this girl came. She was about 23, very young girl. When I was about to be done with like last class, she asked me for my number, and because she was so not my type. it never occurred to me that she was like trying to have a like a date or whatever. And she was like so far away from my cup of tea. In the last class, she asked me to have a coffee, and she thought I said yes, like to date her. My intention was not that, but there was a misunderstanding, mix up. But we had a good tea, good coffee, and because she thought we were going to date, she told me that, oh, there's something you should know about me before we go to the next stage. So I don't really think we are going to the next stage. I was quite sure, but she thought we were going somewhere. So okay, like what is this? And she goes, I got my own place in Gangbuk, far away, and it's not really a nice neighborhood. It's like where is going this? Like okay, whatever. And she goes, there's a lot of shaman's houses. And one day in the morning, she had this urge to go in there to one of them. Very strong, apparently. So she has no idea. She still had no idea why she went there. She went in. It was almost like a calling. Like she was very certain I had to go. She knocked, and a woman opened up with a traditional Korean dress, hanbok. And before even any of them said hello to each other, the shaman goes, "Your mom is such a horrible mom." The shaman said, "Your mom is such a horrible mom. She wouldn't know why you're here. And get the hell out. You make a call to your mom, and come and visit me." And she was, I don't know, she was lost, right? So weird. And then because she's young, she and her mom talk every day, every night before bed. And mom goes, "Hi, so my lovely daughter, like how was it today?" And the girl told her, "Oh, it's weird. I went to this shaman's place. I said, I don't know why I went." And then she goes, "Oh, your mom is such a bad person, and you should come." And her mom was like, "Stop talking." He's like, "Hello." And "I'll be there tomorrow." And she hung up. Next day, first thing in the morning, her mom was at the door already. "Let's go. Which one is it?" So they went. And then the same thing happened. The shaman from the house, she goes, "You know why I called you, right?" And and the girl was lost again. Like, what is going on? And her mom goes, "Yes." What? Okay, so this is what happened. Apparently, her grandmother was a shaman, and usually it runs through the family. And then she had a calling. She had a time. So she started to see things, and they talk crazy for a while. If you don't go through that ritual to embrace that spirit properly, you get either physically sick and you act crazy, all that kind of stuff. Usually, it's all bad stuff. And so people usually go to hospitals. A lot of hospitals, and they don't know what's wrong. It's very common. But her mom's case, she already knew because grandmother was already a shaman, so it was a time. So it's a sign, like making you sick and making you see things, making you say weird things in front of people to embarrass you and blah blah blah. It's telling her it's about time. Let's do the ritual to embrace the spirit, and now you become a shaman. But we are not gonna go through all that kind of stuff. But you get that, you go through that ritual. It doesn't mean that you have to run the business. Sometimes you get that ritual, like a 신내림. You go through that ritual and you embrace the spirit, and you can kind of postpone all these weird phenomena, right? But you will still see things, and there will be spirit with you. It's going to affect your life a little bit, but you embrace your faith, and sometimes they leave you alone. I think from what I read, it all depends on your spirit. Sometimes you're forced to open a business. So anyway, so her mom, she refused. Usually it takes a big balls to not get it, to get the ritual done to you, because you're going to get sick for a long time, which he did apparently. and she thought she passed it. Usually, it's a very painful process. What happened next is that that temptation slash that faith jumps over your turn, which means it goes to your kids, and they usually prefer girls, right? There are men as well. My shaman is a male. Sometimes it goes to the boy, sometimes it goes to the girl, but most likely girls. And so that happened, which is why she had this calling. She popped in without hesitation. And when she was talking to me over the coffee, she still doesn't understand like the feeling she had when she entered the room. So to postpone that, she didn't want her daughter to become shaman right away. I know it's so late, but I'm gonna do this. So she did, and she became new shaman. Yeah. So she told me before we move to next stage, I'd like to let you know that my mom is a shaman, and that ritual happened like a few months ago. So she can't really control the spirits. Usually, the common combination is a young boy and a old woman. So her voice changes. Like a young boy, sometimes like an old grandma. She said it's quite scary. Sometimes she calls her mom and the boy answers. Like, oh, bring me toys, bring me toys, bring me toys. And she buys toys and visits her mom, and she doesn't remember. If you got a date, you have to know that my mom is a shaman. And I was like, your mom didn't tell you that I'm a breast man. So nothing happened between us. Yeah, very young girl. Wasn't gonna work out anyway. My attitude towards shamanism is this: there's something that we cannot explain by logic and science. But when this type of things happened, I say this is kind of a side note. Because it's you living the life. You make your own choices in your life, and you deal with the consequences. So this kind of stuff is real, but what's more real is you being you. So when I speak to shaman, I ask for advice, and at the end of the day, I make the choices, and it's me who is living my life. It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. 당신의 운명은 별이 아니라 당신의 손에 달려 있다. 윌리엄 셰익스피어. I know some of you are on the same page as me, because I believe in this kind of stuff, but I don't think you should over trust all this, and you shouldn't lose your balance. And I try to do the same. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll come back with more podcast. Thank you for watching.